Imagine for a moment finding yourself in an ancient art gallery, but not before paintings and statues, but rather before mirrors. Mirrors that, rather than reflecting your external image, reveal the deepest depths of your soul. Have you ever felt that strange resonance, that sense of spiritual déjà vu, when you stumble upon an arcane symbol, a mythological narrative that seems to speak directly to a part of you thought unknown? Have you ever felt an invisible force guiding your most important decisions, or recognized recurring patterns in your dreams that defy everyday logic? Welcome to this space of research and discovery, the virtual sanctuary where we lift the veils of illusion and draw upon age-old wisdom distilled from the annals of Thoth, the great celestial scribe, to understand the complexities of the present and shape a more conscious future. Today, we will not simply leaf through dusty history books, but embark on a cathartic and profoundly intimate journey, a deep dive into the secret and labyrinthine pathways of the human psyche. We will reveal how the imposing figures of the gods and goddesses of antiquity, not merely mythological entities relegated to the pantheons of distant cultures, but true catalysts of energy, still vibrate with explosive force at the heart of our modern lives, influencing every aspect of our existence. We are not talking about mere superstition or forgotten infantile cults, but rather something infinitely deeper, more structural, and intrinsic to our very essence, the primordial building blocks of our collective consciousness, the eternal and archetypal silhouettes that continue incessantly to weave the invisible yet powerful fabric of our inner and outer reality. Prepare to recognize unexpected divine faces, not in temples of stone and marble, but in the most ordinary dynamics of your daily life, in the interpersonal relationships that define you, in the challenges that shape you, and in the seemingly small choices that shape your entire journey. Your personal and inescapable awakening has already begun, the very moment you felt the irrepressible curiosity to look beyond the surface, to pierce the veil of Maya. The priceless legacy of ancient civilizations is much more than a mere collection of fascinating ruins, majestic monuments eroded by time, and myths engraved on yellowed papyrus or silent tombstones. It constitutes a living and vibrant library of eternal symbols and universal archetypes, a secret code written in the timeless and profound language of the collective unconscious. Thoth, the divine scribe, the guardian of knowledge and the weaver of magical words, enlightens us with his wisdom, teaching us that there is no clear-cut, impassable divide between the sacred and the profane, between the immutable past and the ephemeral present. Everything is interconnected in a ceaseless cosmic dance, a continuous and harmonious flow of subtle energies and primordial information. The timeless stories of Zeus, Aphrodite, Osiris, Isis, or even the Sumerian, Hindu, or Norse deities are not mere fantasy tales designed to entertain or frighten. They are, in fact, complex and detailed maps of the human psyche, dramatic and profound expressions of the innate forces, potentials, and shadows that continually act within us, influencing our every reaction. Carl Jung, with his brilliant insight, defined them as archetypes, universal patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion that reside in the collective unconscious and manifest themselves through powerful symbols, revealing dreams, and of course myths themselves. They are the invisible yet omnipresent molds from which our individual personalities, our social roles, our truest vocations, and our deepest motivations take shape. Recognizing them means acquiring a powerful and unprecedented key to self-understanding, to decoding the enigmatic language of our instinctive reactions, our primal impulses, and to more clearly understanding the complex dynamics that unfold incessantly around us, often without our full awareness. Awakening, in this evolutionary context, is not just a superficial discovery, but a profound recognition, bringing to light what has always been intrinsically there, yet hidden by layers of superficiality, social conditioning, and ignorance. If this journey into the depths of the psyche and history is already captivating you and you sense a resonance, I ask you for a small gesture that means the world to us, an act of connection. Leave an immediate like on this video. This simple click is a precious signal to us, telling us that we're striking the right chord in your soul, that our work resonates deeply with your desire for authentic knowledge. And if you'd like privileged access to even more exclusive content, dedicated Q&A sessions that allow you to interact directly, and in-depth materials that will guide you even further on your path to awareness and transformation, seriously consider subscribing to the channel. Your subscription isn't just financial support, but a true investment in your personal growth and in the future of a growing community that fervently seeks the truth beyond appearances. I promise you that every resource, every video, every insight will be a decisive step towards your personal and inevitable enlightenment. But what exactly are these divine archetypes, and how can we actually identify them in our daily lives, beyond the high-sounding names of the deities? And even more crucially, how can we use this ancient and precious wisdom to more consciously navigate the complexities and challenges of the modern world and finally realize our full and glorious potential? The answer is closer and more accessible than one might imagine. It simply requires a closer look and deeper listening. Let's now delve deeper into the intrinsic nature of these powerful universal forces. Archetypes are not merely abstract concepts. They are primordial energetic and informational patterns that structure humanity's collective unconscious. They have no form of their own until they are activated or embodied in human experiences, in the myths we tell, the dreams we dream, the rituals we perform, or in the behavior of real people. Consider how a simple story, like that of the hero who faces the dragon, is repeated in almost every culture, from St. George to Beowulf, all the way to modern superheroes. This is no coincidence, but the activation of the hero archetype, an inner force that pushes us to overcome obstacles, confront our fears, and transform ourselves. Likewise, the Great Mother archetype manifests itself not only in divine figures like Isis or Demeter, but in the protective and nurturing power of nature itself, in biological mothers, and in the female figures who care for the community. Recognizing the archetype in action is like learning to read the secret language of the soul, a skill that Thoth, the great decipherer of hieroglyphics and keeper of knowledge, embodied and taught. It is through this lens that we can begin to understand why certain situations attract or repel us, why we feel compelled to certain actions, or why certain relationship patterns repeat themselves in our lives. But how do these divine archetypes manifest themselves in our daily lives in a world dominated by technology and rationality? The answer lies in the subtlety of our gestures, our choices, and our passions. Consider the archetype of Apollo, the Greek god of the sun, order, reason, music, and healing. Apollonian energy is alive in the surgeon who operates with pinpoint precision, the architect who designs harmonious structures, the musician who composes perfect symphonies, or anyone who seeks clarity, logic, and perfection. If you are someone who loves planning, who seeks rational solutions, who appreciates the beauty of order and scientific knowledge, then the Apollo archetype is likely very strong in you. Or consider Thoth himself, who as an archetype manifests himself in an insatiable desire for knowledge, in the ability to communicate complex thoughts, in a love of study and writing, or in the search for hidden truths beneath the surface. As above, so below, as within, so without, says an ancient Hermetic adage, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, aka Thoth. This maxim reminds us that the universal laws and archetypes operating in the macrocosm are precisely reflected in the microcosm of our psyche, demonstrating a perfect symmetry between the divine order and our human experience. Not all archetypes manifest in a balanced way. We often find ourselves living under the influence of a shadow archetype, that is, its distorted or excessive manifestation. The energy of Aries, the warrior, can manifest as courage and leadership, but in his shadow it can transform into destructive aggression and uncontrolled anger. Aphrodite, the lover, who brings beauty and connection when in shadow, can become superficial vanity or emotional dependence. Recognizing these dark sides is crucial to our growth and true awakening. Ignoring them means allowing them to operate behind the scenes, negatively impacting our relationships and decisions. Conversely, bringing these shadowy archetypes to light, understanding their roots, and consciously integrating them allows us to transform weaknesses into strengths, fears into wisdom. It is a courageous inner journey, a journey into the underworld of our psyche, similar to that undertaken by many mythological heroes to emerge renewed and more whole. This process of integration is the true alchemy of the soul, the transformation of lead into gold, a concept deeply rooted in Hermetic teachings. The power of this ancient wisdom lies not only in self-analysis, but also in the ability to better understand others and social dynamics. When we recognize the Demeter archetype, the nurturing mother, in a person who tirelessly gives to their family or community, we can appreciate their generosity, but also understand their need to feel useful and perhaps their difficulty receiving help. If we encounter an individual dominated by the Prometheus archetype, the firebringer, the rebellious innovator, we will understand their drive for progress, but also their potential challenge to authority and convention. These archetypal lenses offer us a deeper insight into human motivations. Looking beyond superficial appearances, they allow us to develop greater empathy, manage conflict more wisely, and build more authentic and meaningful relationships. It's not about labeling people, but about recognizing the primordial energy flows that animate them, allowing us to interact with them on a deeper level of understanding. It's an awakening to the complexity and magnificence of the human experience, guided by the whispers of the ancient gods that dwell within us. Let's consider a more concrete example through a short fable, an ancient veiled teaching. Once upon a time, in a small village at the foot of a high mountain, there lived a young weaver named Lyra. Lyra was exceptionally skilled with the loom, but her heart was restless. Every day, after weaving threads of wool and silk, she found herself gazing at the snow-capped peaks with an unexpressed longing. Her dearest friend, a woman named Rhea, was rooted to the earth, her hands dirty with clay, always intent on shaping vases and figurines, finding joy in the concreteness of material creation. One day, a wise old man came to the village. Lyra confided her anguish to him. "I'm good at weaving, but I feel a call to the unknown, a voice urging me to leave the village. Rhea, on the other hand, finds peace in her art. She is always so calm and content." The sage smiled. "My dear Lyra," he said, "within you dances the archetype of Artemis, the huntress, goddess of the wild forest and freedom. She calls you to adventure, to independence, to explore what lies beyond known boundaries. In Rhea, on the other hand, pulsates the energy of Demeter, goddess of the earth and fertility, who finds fulfillment in cultivating, nurturing, and creating with her hands. Neither is better than the other, but they are different forces. If Lyra ignored Artemis, she would feel trapped. If Rhea renounced Demeter, she would feel empty." Wisdom lies not in denying who we are, but in recognizing these inner strengths and finding a way to express them in balance. Lyra understood. She decided to continue weaving, but only to create travel clothes for herself and Rhea, and then she left, promising to return with new stories and colors to weave. Rhea continued to shape, but with each vessel she created, she felt she was also embracing her friend's journey. Both, recognizing and honoring their archetypes, found their true path. This tale shows us how archetypes are not static labels, but dynamic energies that guide us toward our authenticity. Recognizing the dominant archetype in ourselves or in those around us offers us a magnifying glass to understand behaviors, motivations, and even conflicts. Awakening then becomes an act of awareness, bringing these subconscious forces to light, naming them, understanding their mechanisms, and ultimately learning to consciously direct them. It means ceasing to be puppets of unknown forces and becoming active co-creators of our reality. Each archetype brings with it gifts and challenges, strengths and areas for growth. The path of ancient knowledge invites us to integrate these energies harmoniously, not to repress any part of ourselves, but to find balance between the different divinities that inhabit our psyche. Only in this way can we aspire to a fuller, more authentic, and conscious life, in tune with our true essence and with the universal laws that ancient traditions teach us to decipher. It is a continuous process of discovery and recalibration, a constant dialogue with our innermost being. We have barely scratched the surface of an ocean of knowledge, the legacy the ancient deities have left us, not as silent statues, but as vibrant keys to unlock the secrets of our soul. Your journey into this space has only just begun, but the awareness you have gained today is already a giant step. Remember, the figures of gods and goddesses are not just distant myths, but powerful mirrors that reflect your own potential and your most intimate challenges. Now you have the tools to begin deciphering their language, to recognize the Aphrodite who longs for beauty, the Artemis who seeks freedom, the Ares who fights for his ideals, or the Thoth who longs for knowledge, all dancing within you. This is the true power of awakening. Don't wait for the truth to be revealed to you, but actively seek it, listening to the voices of the archetypes resonating within your spirit. I wish you a profound and continuous awakening, an ever deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. If this message has awakened something in you, show your appreciation with a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future insights. And now, leave your mark on Thoth's path. In the comments below, write a word or phrase that represents the archetype you feel most alive in right now. Whether it's hunter, lover, sage, warrior, creator, or something else, your voice is important to us. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of discovery, a hug of light and knowledge. Until the next awakening,